All right, there's been a lot of news that has happened since I've been gone, so let's do the best we can in going through all of it today. What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. It's been a while. It's been a couple of days since I made a legit video. And so we're going to do all the updates we can today about the New York Giants. First and foremost, we started pretty much Black Monday, the day after the regular season ends. We started that day sad. New York Giants did not make the playoffs. We got to move on from now. Now it's draft season. Now I'm going through all my prospects and stuff like that and going through scouting. But we started off with Patrick Graham getting requested by the New York Jets to do a head coach interview. And that moment, the world felt like it stood still. Like, I mean, if I'm Patrick Graham, I'm probably going to take an opportunity to get a head coaching job as well. So I can't blame the guy. But I mean, this really tells to the culture. So before that happens, Blake Martinez came out and said, I'm not going to let Patrick go no matter what happens or whatever the case was. And I'm not letting this happen. And at the end of the day, Patrick Graham signs an extension with the New York Giants and dismisses any other head coaching opportunities. He wants to remain a New York Giant. How many times does things like this happen? Like, usually that coordinator or that position coach goes out and pursues another opportunity somewhere else, but he wants to stay here. He took a contract extension. He wants to remain a New York Giant. That really speaks to the culture the New York Giants is building here, and Blake Martinez was very vocal and very excited to have Patrick Graham back at New York. And speaking of Blake Martinez has quickly become one of my favorite New York Giants on this roster right now. He's only been here for about a year now. Blake Martinez came out and said, he had pretty much his best statistical season and, said that he wants to be a New York Giant for life. He wants to be in Big Blue for life. And he's only been here a year. So the culture shift that's happening with this New York Giants team was you were able to see it last year, but now it's even more seeable. I guess it's even more visible to the naked eye. You could see the culture that the New York Giants are building here in New York. So that being said, Jason Garrett then was also requested, this time by the Los Angeles Chargers, to be their new head coach. We're still waiting on news on what happens with that, but there's some pros and cons that happen with this Jason Garrett situation. Today, it's been later revealed that the Giants are not making any structural changes themselves when it comes to the coaching staff and guys like that. But I think the decision is still up to Jason Garrett. We'll see what happens. But there's some pros and cons when it comes to that. Obviously, we don't really need to get into it. Everybody knows that. But you can take your pick. You want to see Jason Garrett go or you don't want to see Jason Garrett go. I'm still on the fence on that. I know you probably shouldn't be on the fence when it comes to things like this. But at the end of the day, I'm not making the decisions. I'm just going to go with the flow when it comes with Jason Garrett, because there's a lot of pros and cons to him staying and going. And then we got some also big and also confirmed news that the New York Giants are retaining Dave Gettleman. And it was later explained why they are retaining Dave Gettleman and, along with Joe Judge, keeping that duo connected. When in John Mara's press conference, I wasn't able to watch the press conference, but Giants.com has all the important quotes from Dan Solomon. And pretty much what they were saying is Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge were on the same track, like we're in agreement together pretty much the whole season, and they want to give Dave Gettleman the opportunity to finish what he started and to continue to build with Joe Judge and keep them together for at least another year and see what they have in store in 2021. Also, we have some big news, and this shows the Giants are learning from their mistakes. If you get the first step to improvement is admitting your mistakes. That is the truth in almost every aspect of life. The first step of improving yourself or improving anything is to acknowledge your past mistakes. And John Mara did exactly that, something he has not done or has not ever taken credit for as New York Giants ownership since the New York Giants have gone downhill in 2013. He admitted to a mistake, and that is the miscalculations in 2018 and when they were trying to win games rather than rebuild. We can always go back to Saquon Barkley and was he the right pick at number 2? I'm going to go out and say that if Quentin Nelson was on the board, probably grab Quentin Nelson instead. But you can't, hindsight is 2020 when it comes to the draft pick, but I understand everybody's frustrations, and I'm very frustrated as well when it came to 2018 and how everything played out in that year. So that is a step in the right direction from ownership. Forget about Dave Gettleman, forget about Joe Judge, forget about the New York Giants coaching staff, forget about the Giants personnel. It all stems back to ownership, and if ownership can learn from their mistakes and move forward from it, then that's a huge step in the right direction, regardless of Dave Gettleman's moves or Joe Judge's moves. It all starts with ownership, and if they can acknowledge their mistakes and move forward and learn from it and not make the same mistakes again, then obviously the Giants are on the right track. So I love that. And they are really buying into Joe Judge. I literally think the only reason why Dave Gettleman is still here is because of Joe Judge. Joe Judge, the whole building believes in Joe Judge. And it's crazy, after 1 year, a wide receiver / special teams coordinator it has an impact on a team like this. This really tells how special this guy is. This is a quote from John Mara saying, John Mara said the fact that all the players buy into Joe Judge's message is part of what gives a different feeling in the building. That's why he is optimistic. So, and he also says, I do see progress in the building. He said the quality of the people in the locker room has improved a great deal. I'm excited for what the future holds for this team. And I'm excited as well. I just said it early on in the video. The Giants culture that they are building here is nothing like I've ever seen before. The not winning culture, not yet. We're not there yet. But the family-like culture that the Giants are building here. You know, you're getting rid of guys like Odell Beckham. Guys like, I love Jason Pierre-Paul, but he had some culture issues as well. Landon Collins has some culture issues. Eli Apple, Janoris Jenkins, Damon Harrison has some culture issues as well. The list goes on and on guys that probably should not have been on this New York Giants team that affected us in a culture sense, and replacing them with guys like Julian Love, like Logan Ryan, like Jabril Peppers, like Blake Martinez, like Dalvin Tomlinson, a bunch of leaders like Nick Gates. I know Nick Gates is hated by a lot of people, including myself, but this guy's it brings that fire onto the team. Like Saquon Barkley, a bunch of these guys that help the culture rather than hurts the culture. You have to love the locker room that Dave Gettleman, forget about Joe Judge, he didn't do it. Dave Gettleman started building that culture in the locker room, and Joe Judge was the guy to mend it all together. So that's why I could understand why Dave Gettleman remains for at least 1 more year, and that's what I think a lot of guys and video makers and fans and subscribers are missing. Guys on Twitter, they're missing that. Why we're keeping Dave Gettleman for 1 year. He created a locker room that Joe Judge just mended together. Dave Gettleman started that. Don't think that Joe Judge in 1 year, he just did all of it. Dave Gettleman started the process in doing that. And all Joe Judge did was mend it together. And that's why I think this duo should remain in 2021. So, I'm trying to think of any other things that I'm missing out so far. I think that's about it. You guys let me know if there's anything I missed out. I'm going to be continuing doing some New York Giants research and maybe come out with a season review in total and things like that. We'll go through every other game and every single game and kind of go through that. But we'll see what happens in the future, guys. Keep talking to me on Twitter. Send me things on Twitter. You guys are awesome. The Twitter support I've been getting since I got back on Twitter. So that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.